which were marked from your Lord. And it, i.e. Allah's punishment, is not from the wrongdoers very far. And to Madian we sent their brother Shu'aib. He said, O my people, worship Allah. You have no deity other than Him. And do not decrease from the measure and the scale. Indeed, I see you in prosperity. But indeed, I fear for you the punishment of an all-encompassing day. And O my people, give full measure and weight in justice, and do not deprive the people of their due, and do not commit abuse on the earth, spreading corruption. What remains lawful from Allah is best for you, if you would be believers. But I am not a guardian over you. They said, O Shu'aib, does your prayer, i.e. religion, command you that we should leave what our fathers worship, or not do with our wealth what we please? Indeed, you are the forbearing, the discerning. He said, O my people, have you considered? If I am upon clear evidence from my Lord, and He has provided me with a good provision from Him, and I do not intend to differ from you in that which I have forbidden you, I only intend reform as much as I am able. And my success is not but through Allah. Upon Him I have relied, and to Him I return. And O my people, let not your dissension from me cause you to be struck by that similar to what struck the people of Noah, or the people of Hud, or the people of Salih. And the people of Lot are not from you far away. And ask forgiveness of your Lord, and then repent to Him. Indeed, my Lord is merciful and affectionate. They said, O Shu'aib, we do not understand much of what you say, and indeed we consider you among us as weak. And if not for your family, we would have stoned you to death, and you are not to us one respected. He said, O my people, is my family more respected for power by you than Allah? But you put Him behind your backs in neglect. Indeed, my Lord is encompassing of what you do. And O my people, work according to your position. Indeed, I am working. You are going to know to whom will come a punishment that will disgrace him and who is a liar. So watch. Indeed, I am with you a watcher, awaiting the outcome. And when our command came, we saved Shu'aib and those who believed with him by mercy from us. And the shriek seized those who had wronged, and they became within their homes corpses fallen prone, as if they had never prospered therein. Then away with Madian, as Thamud was taken away. And we did certainly send Moses with our signs and a clear authority to Pharaoh and his establishment. But they followed the command of Pharaoh, and the command of Pharaoh was not at all discerning. He will precede his people on the day of resurrection and lead them into the fire. And wretched is the place to which they are led. And they were followed in this world with a curse, and on the day of resurrection. And wretched is the gift which is given. That is from the news of the cities which we relate to you. Of them some are still standing, and some are as a harvest mowed down. And we did not wrong them, but they wronged themselves. And they were not availed at all by their gods, which they invoked other than Allah, when there came the command of your Lord. And they did not increase them in other than ruin. And thus is the seizure of your Lord when He seizes the cities while they are committing wrong. Indeed, His seizure is painful and severe. Indeed, in that is a sign for those who fear the punishment of the hereafter. That is a day for which the people will be collected, and that is a day which will be witnessed. And we do not delay it except for a limited term. The day it comes, no soul will speak except by His permission, and among them will be the wretched and the prosperous. As for those who were destined to be wretched, they will be in the fire. For them therein is violent exhaling and inhaling. They will be abiding therein as long as the heavens and the earth endure, except what your Lord should will. Indeed, your Lord is an effector of what He intends. And as for those who were destined to be prosperous, they will be in paradise, abiding therein as long as the heavens and the earth endure, except what your Lord should will, a bestowal uninterrupted. So do not be in doubt, O Muhammad, as to what these polytheists are worshipping. They worship not except as their fathers worshipped before. And indeed, we will give them their share undiminished. And we had certainly given Moses the scripture, but it came under disagreement. And if not for a word that proceeded from your Lord, it would have been judged between them. And indeed, they are concerning it, i.e. the Quran, in disquieting doubt. And indeed, each of the believers and disbelievers, your Lord will fully compensate them for their deeds. Indeed, He is aware of what they do. So remain on a right course as you have been commanded, you and those who have turned back with you to Allah, and do not transgress. Indeed, He is seeing of what you do. And do not incline toward those who do wrong, lest you be touched by the fire. And you would not have other than Allah any protectors, then you would not be helped. And establish prayer at the two ends of the day, and at the approach of the night. Indeed, good deeds do away with misdeeds. That is a reminder for those who remember. And be patient, for indeed Allah does not allow to be lost the reward of those who do good. So why were there not among the generations before you those of enduring discrimination, forbidding corruption on earth, except a few of those we saved from among them? But those who wronged pursued what luxury they were given therein, and they were criminals. And your Lord would not have destroyed the cities unjustly, while their people were reformers. And if your Lord had willed, He could have made mankind one community. But they will not cease to differ, except whom your Lord has given mercy, and for that He created them. But the word of your Lord is to be fulfilled, that I will surely fill hell with jinn and men altogether. And each story we relate to you from the news of the messengers is that by which we make firm your heart. And there has come to you in this truth an instruction and a reminder for the believers. And say to those who do not believe, work according to your position. Indeed, we are working. And wait. Indeed, we are waiting. And to Allah belong the unseen aspects of the heavens and the earth. And to Him will be returned the matter, all of it. So worship Him and rely upon Him. And your Lord is not unaware of that which you do. That is so He, i.e. Al-Aziz, will know that I did not betray Him in His absence, and that Allah does not guide the plan of betrayers. Alif, Lam, Ra. These are the verses of the clear book. Indeed, we have sent it down as an Arabic Quran, that you might understand. We relate to you, O Muhammad, the best of stories in what we have revealed to you of this Quran, although you were before it among the unaware. Of these stories, mention when Joseph said to his father, O my father, indeed I have seen in a dream 11 stars, and the sun and the moon. I saw them prostrating to me. He said, O my son, do not relate your vision to your brothers, or they will contrive against you a plan. Indeed, Satan to man is a manifest enemy, and thus will your Lord choose you, and teach you the interpretation of narratives, i.e. events or dreams, and complete His favor upon you, and upon the family of Jacob, as He completed it upon your fathers before, Abraham and Isaac. Indeed, your Lord is knowing and wise. Certainly were there in Joseph and his brothers signs for those who ask, such as when they said, Joseph and his brother are more beloved to our father than we, while we are a clan. Indeed, our father is in clear error. Kill Joseph or cast him out to another land. The countenance, i.e. attention of your father, will then be only for you, and you will be after that a righteous people. Said a speaker among them, do not kill Joseph, but throw him into the bottom of the well. Some travelers will pick him up, if you would do something. They said, O our father, why do you not entrust us with Joseph, while indeed we are to him sincere counselors? Send him with us tomorrow, that he may eat well and play. And indeed we will be his guardians. Jacob said, Indeed, it saddens me that you should take him, and I fear that a wolf would eat him while you are of him unaware. They said, If a wolf should eat him while we are a strong clan, indeed we would then be losers. So when they took him out and agreed to put him into the bottom of the well, but we inspired to him, You will surely inform them some day about this affair of theirs, while they do not perceive your identity. And they came to their father at night, weeping. They said, O our father, indeed we went racing each other, and left Joseph with our possessions, and a wolf ate him. But you would not believe us, even if we were truthful. And they brought upon his shirt false blood. Jacob said, Rather your souls have enticed you to something, so patience is most fitting. And Allah is the one sought for help against that which you describe. And there came a company of travelers. Then they sent their water drawer, and he let down his bucket. He said, Good news, here is a boy. And they concealed him, taking him as merchandise. And Allah was knowing of what they did. And they sold him for a reduced price, a few dirhams. And they were concerning him of those content with little. And the one from Egypt who bought him said to his wife, Make his residence comfortable. Perhaps he will benefit us, or we will adopt him as a son. And thus we established Joseph in the land, that we might teach him the interpretation of events, i.e. dreams. And Allah is predominant over his affair. But most of the people do not know. And when he, i.e. Joseph, reached maturity, we gave him judgment and knowledge. And thus we reward the doers of good. And she in whose house he was sought to seduce him. She closed the doors and said, Come you. He said, I seek the refuge of Allah. Indeed, he is my master, who has made good my residence. Indeed, wrongdoers will not succeed. And she certainly determined to seduce him. And he would have inclined to her had he not seen the proof, i.e. sign of his Lord. And thus it was that we should avert from him evil and immorality. Indeed, he was of our chosen servants. And they both raced to the door, and she tore his shirt from the back. And they found her husband at the door. She said, What is the recompense of one who intended evil for your wife, but that he be imprisoned, or a painful punishment? Joseph said, It was she who sought to seduce me. And a witness from her family testified, If his shirt is torn from the front, then she has told the truth, and he is of the liars. But if his shirt is torn from the back, then she has lied, and he is of the truthful. So when he, i.e. her husband, saw his shirt torn from the back, he said, Indeed, it is of your, i.e. women's plan. Indeed, your plan is great, i.e. vehement. Joseph, ignore this, and my wife, ask forgiveness for your sin. Indeed, you were of the sinful. And women in the city said, The wife of Al-Aziz is seeking to seduce her slave boy. He has impassioned her with love. Indeed, we see her to be in clear error. So when she heard of their scheming, she sent for them, and prepared for them a banquet, and gave each one of them a knife, and said to Joseph, Come out before them. And when they saw him, they greatly admired him, and cut their hands, and said, Perfect is Allah. This is not a man, this is none but a noble angel. She said, That is the one about whom you blamed me. And I certainly sought to seduce him, but he firmly refused. And if he will not do what I order him, he will surely be imprisoned, and will be of those debased. He said, My Lord, prison is more to my liking than that to which they invite me. And if you do not avert from me their plan, I might incline toward them, and thus be of the ignorant. So his Lord responded to him and averted from him their plan. Indeed, he is the hearing, the knowing. Then it appeared to them, after they had seen the signs, that he, i.e. Al-Aziz, should surely imprison him for a time. And there entered the prison with him 2 young men. One of them said, "Indeed, I have seen myself in a dream, pressing grapes for wine." The other said, "Indeed, I have seen myself carrying upon my head some bread, from which the birds were eating. Inform us of its interpretation. Indeed, we see you to be of those who do good." He said, "You will not receive food that is provided to you, except that I will inform you of its interpretation before it comes to you. That is from what my Lord has taught me. Indeed, I have left the religion of a people who do not believe in Allah, and they in the hereafter are disbelievers. And I have followed the religion of my fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And it was not for us to associate anything with Allah. That is from the favor of Allah upon us and upon the people. But most of the people are not grateful. O my 2 companions of prison, are separate lords better, or Allah, the One, the prevailing? You worship not besides Him except mere names you have named them, you and your fathers, for which Allah has sent down no evidence. Legislation is not but for Allah. He has commanded that you worship not except Him. That is the correct religion, but most of the people do not know. O 2 companions of prison, as for one of you, he will give drink to his master of wine. But as for the other, he will be crucified, and the birds will eat from his head. The matter has been decreed about which you both inquire. And he said to the one whom he knew would go free, "Mention me before your master." But Satan made him forget the mention to his master, and he, i.e. Joseph, remained in prison several years. And subsequently the king said, "Indeed, I have seen in a dream 7 fat cows being eaten by 7 that were lean, and 7 green spikes of grain, and others that were dry. O eminent ones, explain to me my vision, if you should interpret visions." They said, "It is but a mixture of false dreams, and we are not learned in the interpretation of dreams." But the one who was freed and remembered after a time said, "I will inform you of its interpretation, so send me forth." He said, "Joseph, O man of truth, explain to us about 7 fat cows eaten by 7 that were lean, and 7 green spikes of grain, and others that were dry, that I may return to the people, i.e. the king and his court. Perhaps they will know about you." Joseph said, "You will plant for 7 years consecutively, and what you harvest leave in its spikes, except a little from which you will eat. Then will come after that 7 difficult years, which will consume what you advanced, i.e. saved for them, except a little from which you will store. Then will come after that a year in which the people will be given rain, and in which they will press olives and grapes." And the king said, "Bring him to me." But when the messenger came to him, Joseph said, "Return to your master and ask him what is the case of the women who cut their hands. Indeed, my Lord is knowing of their plan." Said the king to the women, "What was your condition when you sought to seduce Joseph?" They said, "Perfect is Allah. We know about him no evil." The wife of Al-Aziz said, "Now the truth has become evident. It was I who sought to seduce him, and indeed he is of the truthful."